Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 8th of August, 2014. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you. Today we are still talking about Typhoon Halong. You can actually see it here on JMA's high-resolution radar imagery, that very tight center of circulation. The outer rain bands extending out from that, and well, that's what we have been seeing throughout the day. Today we have been seeing these gusty winds. In the center of this image, you can actually see some of those downed tree limbs and the high waves that have been cascading across parts of the Amami Islands and the Okinawa Islands. Max winds reported upwards about 170 kilometers per hour on the Daito Islands, which is just towards the east of Okinawa. These little specks, about 2,000 people live out there, and really the biggest threat from the storm system is yet to come. I know those islands have been seeing the gusty winds, but as seen on the right side of this imagery, the past 7 days, some areas in Shikoku and parts of Kyushu have seen upwards about nearly 700 to 1,000 millimeters of rainfall. And as far as the forecast is concerned, we still could see upwards about 500 to 600 millimeters. That's falling on top of what has already occurred. Well, needless to say, this is going to be causing some problems out here. A very serious risk of flooding and landslides is going to be seen across parts of Shikoku. Miyazaki could be really getting impacted there in eastern Kyushu, over towards the Kii Peninsula, and then in the western Honshu. I actually have Iwakuni marked here on the map. I know we have a lot of you watching from there. You're going to be really impacted. You remember back on Monday and Tuesday, you actually saw some heavy rainfall. That was nothing due to this storm system. That was actually associated with the stationary boundary, which is stretching off here towards the north, and you can even still see it if we get rid of the winds. You can still see where that rainfall is stretching here across northern portions of Honshu, extending down there towards the west. This is all due to a stationary front. It's all kind of the seasonal front, but it's not really. It's kind of mixed up with the leftovers of that, also mixed up with Nakri. JMA stamps that front there, and that's what's been bringing the rainfall after Nakri last week. So the ground here is already saturated. That's what the general gist of what I'm trying to say is. So we're going to be seeing more rainfall on that, and anytime you get that, you're talking about the rain immediately going into the rivers and streams out here, and that very well could cause a significant risk of not only river level rise, but flash flooding, and that's when we're talking about the loss of life, damage to homes, and also with the ground already saturated and more rainfall coming in, you're going to be looking at a very serious threat of landslides as well. That's already been reported out here across parts of Shikoku. Actually, this image coming out of Shikoku back on Tuesday, if you remember, a whole hillside giving away right near Oceanside. Well, that threat is going to be there again. So we have people out there. Everybody's getting ready for the storm system. Some people have said they're going to share photos with us from Shikoku and the Kii Peninsula. This was taken by videographer James Reynolds. He's there in Yamaguchi. What I like to talk about James is that if you are in Iwakuni, ask your friends in Okinawa or the Philippines. If you ever see him nearby, you know what to expect, basically. You know the weather's going to get bad. He's out there. This is actually the bridge that connects Honshu and Kyushu together, and he's going to be documenting the storm as it rolls across the inland sea here. Here's my highest threat for flooding and landslides there in the purple. Like I mentioned before, this isn't official, but this really just based on how much rainfall is going to come down and based on the overall threat of the ground already being saturated, that highest threat there is going to be seen in those areas in purple. So this is what we're going to be looking at basically starting Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. It's really going to pick up, but already by Saturday morning, Kagoshima is already going to start getting impacted by the storm system, those gusty winds coming on shore. We could even see typhoon strength winds across much of eastern portions of Kyushu over there towards Shikoku, but it's probably going to be severe tropical storm strength. More so the heavy rainfall coming down is still that threat, and that's going to continue on Saturday all the way through Sunday. Even after the storm system pushes off there towards the north, that rainfall is just going to stick around and pump on shore, and that's why JMA has announced that some areas really could see just those staggering amounts of precipitation, a very serious threat to flooding out here. Now, eventually, as we look at in the Sunday and Monday, there's a few things going on, and I want to show this to you. Monday afternoon into the evening hours, watch this. It looks like a tropical storm according to the ECMWF model, making landfall near Vladivostok in far eastern Russia. If that was to happen, I know Hawaii, it's very rare to have storms and everybody's concentrating on his cell out there towards the east, but I don't think we've ever had a tropical system make landfall in Russia, usually by the time they get up here, they get sheared apart, and this one's already going to be contending with that. This is actually showing you the winds upwards of about 15 to 20,000 feet, and you can see where that jet stream wraps around and pushes off there towards the east. And then we get rid of the winds, and you can see that the max of the precipitation actually stretching off there towards the east over much of basically Tohoku and Hokkaido. So the storm system is going to be sheared apart. So the technicalities of it, will it be a full-on tropical system by the time it makes it off there towards Russia, or will it even impact Russia directly? JTWC and JMA both actually take it towards the east. The ECMWF model is one of these models taking it there towards the west. All that's up to be kind of seen. Actually, most recent JMA's taking it really close to far eastern Russia as well. So I think that might be a first. I'm not sure about the statistics behind it, but it'd be interesting having typhoon or at least tropical storm warnings there into Russia. So that's what we're looking at right now. Meanwhile, also the heat continues to bake parts of Tokyo, or actually not just Tokyo, but all of Japan. Temperatures rising up to the high 30s. That's into the high 90s, or mid 30s, excuse me. That's the high 90s if you're not sure without Celsius scale. And over 20 deaths have actually been reported due to heat stroke out here as well. So this storm system is not the only threat in Japan. It, of course, is the main one, but do want to stay cool out there as it does continue to approach. So we're going to continue to keep you updated all weekend. Please check the website. Also check our Facebook page. We have live updates continuing to go through there. Our live blog also being seen there at the Tropical Information Center. So these are all things we're going to continue to keep you guys updated with. And, of course, follow us on Twitter as well. And follow James Reynolds on Twitter as well at earthuncut.tv. Okay, that's a lot of information.